Hello, everyone. This is Saima from Holistic Happiness Academy. And today I'm going to talk about a very common issue, more so in societies that are vulnerable to abuse because of lack of justice issues or poor mental health. So, one of the major issues that we're dealing with as a world today is the God complex, which is another form of narcissism. People with this disorder, basically it's narcissistic personality disorder, with this disorder, think that they have a special power and that they have a direct line to God, and this special power gives them certain benefits, certain privileges, certain rights over other people. This kind of personality disorder we can see in some extremely famous and powerful gurus and spiritual leaders of the world. We can even see this or identify some aspects in the current president of the United States. So, what is this narcissistic personality disorder? It's listed as a mental health disorder in the DSM 5, and the the point is to identify some of the delusional and completely inappropriate and marginal, marginally rational aspects that people have when they have this kind of a disorder. However, these kinds of people can be very, very compelling. They can have a huge popularity with a lot of people following them and falling into the grip or the spell of the narcissist. So, the God complex or NPD has the following characteristics: my religion, my way, my race is the best in the world. It is superior to others. Right away, that shows a narcissistic worldview. And that kind of narcissistic worldview is rooted in a sense of being superior and the need to prove superiority by dominating others. So there is a severe need to be superior, and that, of course, is coming from some insecurity. And then on top of that is that this need to be superior has to be asserted through some kind of dominance or abusive or any means to power, but equality or truth. So, because equality and truth are not going to give power as quickly as domination and control. So, why is it that people get sucked into this? Who are the vulnerable people who get sucked into the vortex or the energy field of narcissistic people? Number one, people who feel completely lost within themselves, people who feel that there is nothing in their life worth living for, people who really feel alone. So there's some trauma that those people are going through. They're very unhappy about something. And then this person comes along, and this person seems to know, and this person seems to tell them something so convincingly, they get sucked into it. So the narcissistic person is going to say, this is absolute truth, this is what is really happening. They're going to have that body language, they're going to have that eye gaze, that sort of non-verbal conviction. And their follower, who is lost and confused and spiritually disconnected, is going to get sucked into the energy field of this kind of a person. And then this kind of a person can manipulate them, can tell them anything, and the person who is under their spell is not going to care. They're going to do anything that that narcissist tells them to do, even if it is not factual and even if it is there's no ground for it. So we see people who have, because of their compelling belief, have done all sorts of things. We see that also. So there's an aspect of spirituality where people with a profound faith have created schools, they've created tremendous good works for society and social work and all kinds of things like that. Now, those people are probably not narcissistic because they are operating from a sense of empathy and desire to serve. What I'm kind of referring to is people who are actually doing everything in order to exert a sense of superiority over others. So they are not motivated by service to God or to, enable humanity to rise or ascend. They are motivated by exerting their superiority, that they are better than others. And that is their downfall, and that is the source of the disorder. Is that deep down inside, they feel so insecure that they feel so completely unable to meet, the norms, that they have to resort to this kind of stuff where they completely control other people's minds and dominate them in order to, control them. That's all that they're really after, is to control other people. So narcissistic personality disorder, or people with a god complex, they are around us. They're everywhere. They're in every culture. They're all over the world. And because of their compulsion and because of their single-minded dedication and focus on gaining superiority over others, they have in history gained power many, many times throughout history. And they've also retained power through narcissistic methods, such as, illegal means, like doing unethical and illegal things. So we have that history of people with God complex and narcissistic personality disorder. Now, for those who are really seeking God, really seeking a profound connection to God, they look for kindness, they look for empathy, they look for service. And those people are also found who are doing good because they believe that is the path to serve God or to please God. And the sad part, or the very interesting part of this, is that many times those people who are in, service of God or in service of a higher power can be attracted to narcissists, and in fact may be with them. Sometimes it can be for a short period of time because they see through the narcissist's lies and they realize that the narcissist is not empathic. The narcissist is not serving the greater good. The narcissist is not serving God. The narcissist is only serving himself or herself and her own pocket and her own desires, and that the narcissist lacks empathy. So when this kind of, true sort of follower of faith discovers this kind of manipulation and lies, they are very disappointed, they're very upset, and many times, they part ways. But sometimes they are unable to part ways. They are stuck. Even if they part ways and they start to teach, separately, or they start to go their different ways, it's not clear to everybody what is happening. So you will find in, when you're looking at people with a God complex, they really confuse matters. For so people who are watching this, they get very confused about who is in the right and who's in the wrong, and that's something that narcissists excel at doing. They'll play the victim card so beautifully that you will be amazed. You will be like, oh, so that's what was happening. This poor guy, is doing this out of sheer helplessness, or sheer, they had no other choice. But here's the thing that can help you realize whether somebody is a narcissist or misguided or just foolish or acting from some terrible health condition. No matter how bad somebody is, how big a victim they are, a normal or kind of more mentally stable person feels empathy towards something that's vulnerable, just something in their life. Maybe it's an animal, maybe a child, maybe a fragile old person. They're going to have moments of empathy towards that, no matter how depleted they are psychologically, mentally, emotionally. There is going to be those moments coming in their life. Somebody with a God complex or narcissistic personality disorder cannot feel it at all. Okay, just for a moment, imagine how bizarre that would be, that somebody has no reaction to somebody who's ill, somebody who is in vulnerable state, something that is being being hurt. That there's absolutely no empathy from the narcissist. So that's when we see that NPD is going towards more and more criminal behavior as well, because somebody with that complex, if you tell the truth to them, or if you stand up to them, or you defy, they will resort to criminal activities. They will do something violent and underhand in or because they just cannot give up the need for control, that toxic control. So they'll do anything underhand, anything terrible, criminal, and completely unethical in order to get back at the person who stood up to them. So, for anyone who is in that situation, that they are dealing with somebody with NPD, be careful. Be very, very careful. There's no real way to convince somebody like that to be kinder or to be more empathic. There's just no way. And it's really, there's nothing you can do. You can't argue them out of it. You can't convince them that your point of view is valid and that they are wrong. Because if anything, the narcissist has lost their ethical compass. They've lost their sense of right and wrong because they are totally compelled to have power at any cost. And that emotion of hatred is behind that. And this is how they sort of wind up their followers. This is how they wind up their team that's working with them, whether they're in any situation. So best of luck with taking a stand with narcissists. Best of luck with taking a stand with people with the God complex, because that is an extreme form of it. And I wish you the best in being able to discern whether somebody is actually mentally ill and not the leader that one is looking for in life, at least in the spiritual sense. Anyway, I wish you the best in your spiritual growth and in your connection to God and all things spiritual and beautiful. Thank you. Bye now. And hey, if you like this video, please subscribe so that you get it. I usually record like every couple of days or so, and I'm hoping to continue to give really valuable, actionable, and helpful content in here. So please put your comments down below if you found this useful, and also tell me, do you know somebody with a God complex, and how do you feel when you're around them? Thank you. Bye now.